that
second.
later.
Forget the world champion. Forget Danielson. Forget Tony Storm. All right, so what do you say we get into it and we talk about our predictions for AEW All In with your favorite person kicking us off on the card that we have so far, Willow Nightingale and Ishii versus Statlander and Stokely in the All In 0 Hour.
So we're going to start out by saying the main event is actually in the 0 Hour. Willow Nightingale and Stokely in the ring. I never thought that I would see those two in a match together or against each other, and I'm so excited for this. You don't understand, because Stokely is literally the most hilarious person in wrestling, and Willow is my favorite wrestler. Full bias. Obviously, I'm going with my full bias. Willow and Ishii beat Stokely and Stat. Obviously, Stokely's going to be the reason why they lose.
I mean, this match is 100% built for Stokely to get some comeuppance in a funny way. And yeah,
right.
Willow's winning.
Yeah, Willow Ishii all day.
Now, next on this list is, I have no idea if this is going to be even close to the match order, but the next on the list is the Casino Gauntlet match, in which it was Orange who won the right to be the first entrant, right?
Right.
And so, Hangman's going to destroy everybody who gets in his way.
Yeah, I think Hangman's probably going to win this thing, but unless if there's someone that we haven't heard about yet that's going to be in it that wins it, because out of all the participants, it's definitely got to be Hangman. Out of the participants that we know of, it's got to be Hangman.
See, my thing is if anyone other than Hangman wins this, it tells you that Danielson wins the main event. If anyone other than Hangman wins, I'm like, okay, this makes sense if Danielson's taking over now.
Yeah, that would make sense. I wouldn't say that's a guarantee.
No, I just feel like it helps sway me on a match that I'm not sure about.
It would make me right. It would definitely sway you that way a bit more. I still wouldn't be sure of it, but I'd be swayed in that direction.
Like, if I was 60% Swerve going into the main event, and then somebody other than Hangman wins this match, I'm going now to 60% Danielson, probably. Like, that's how my confidence would sway. Like, it's just one of those things, it would kind of sway me in a situation where I'm not sure.
I feel you.
Next on this list is the London ladder match for the AEW World Trios Championship. The Bang Bang Gang versus the House of Black versus the Patriarchy, current champions, versus, it says a mystery team, but we know it's down to either Top Flight with Leo Rush or Claudio Wheeler and Pac will be the mystery team.
Yeah. Patriarchy's going to retain here. I'm just basically going off of the fact that they just got the belts, and you don't usually have champs lose their first title defense in a multi-team or multi-man match. That usually is a strong sign that they'll retain. Although I would love to see House of Black as trios champs again.
I'm right away ruling out any chance of whoever the mystery team is between those two teams. The Bang Bang Gang is a team that you kind of have a story to build with. I mean, you do with the House as Black too, both towards the Patriarchy. But the downside to that is it doesn't feel like that story's really been built enough, at least for this version of the Bang Bang Gang, since the most recent, like the stripping and everything of the belts. So I could see the House of Black winning, because there's not really a ton of story left for them with the Patriarchy. But I think overall it's probably, Patriarchy still to continue both of those stories and wrap them up probably individually.
Yeah. I think this is a good way to set up something for the patriarchy to do. Obviously, these guys will not be done with the patriarchy after they win with whatever shenanigans they're going to win with in this.
Yeah. So next up on the list is the the triple threat tag team match. FTR, Acclaimed versus the Young Bucks. And the one thing that I could tell you for sure, the Acclaimed are not winning this match.
Yeah, they've been getting a lot of screen time lately, which says they ain't winning. Um, I think I've got the Young Bucks retaining here as well.
I think it does the best to keep the titles on them until you can kind of wrap up the whole AEW versus the Elite kind of story. They should be like dominant champions. So, yeah.
Yeah,
And they'll
and
probably play an FTR acclaimed story leading to the end of that in some kind of way.
yeah, so you could really talk about this kind of in the same vein with think about forgot which pay per view it was, but Samoa Joe, Swerve, and Hangman. Like Swerve and Hangman kind of got tied up into each other, and Samoa Joe was like, "Well, don't forget I'm the champ." Like I feel like that might happen here because FTR and the Acclaimed have been going at each other hard.
Yeah. Lately, there's been a lot of story development for the acclaim where you can tell there's a change coming in within them. So we'll see how that goes. But they're not winning the titles here. Um,
No.
Next up, a match neither of us care about. So hopefully, it can end the fucking story and we can move on. And Hook could just beat Chris Jericho because it needs to end. It needs to fucking end. It needs. We don't need to wait for all the other guys to return, like Joe to finish filming. It needs to end.
Yeah, what he said, you guys. We're I'm kind of done with the FTW title in general. Like this, like I'm not gonna make this about my feelings towards having Jericho on my screen that much. It's more the fact that the FTW title just needs to go away in general. Like so, Hook win that thing back and retire the belt and go for the TNT belt or anything else, but just get rid of the FTW belt. It's not a sanctioned belt. Why do we make such a big deal out of it?
Every time he's lost it, we've always taken the stance of when he wins it back, say it's back home, retire it back home with your dad, and just be done with it so we can move on. We already talked about how there's too many titles in this freaking company, and this one doesn't matter, but they try to make it a thing.
Stop it. Stop it. Bad.
So, next on the list, the coffin match for a TNT title. However, I'm going to say this caveat first. So far,
Mm-hmm.
people have pointed out Darby Allin has never lost a coffin match.
Yep.
So who wins this one?
I was leaning both ways on this one, but Darby is just he's on like a different kind of run right now, and I think you should go ahead and strap him up if you're not putting him right in the world title picture. So I got Darby winning this one,
So
and it's a coffin match.
people would point out that Jack just made his own version of the title. However, that look of a title also works for Darby. And it would not surprise me to see them exchange this during the course of this same AEW versus the Elite feud, where maybe Jack gets this back in Washington at Wrestle Dream or something like that as a thing. So I'm kind of
Yeah.
with you. I think Darby right now because you want to feed into those loud face pops that he gets.
Hmm. Yeah. Darby is he's kind of like he's not where Swerve was when we were like just do it, but he's getting close. Whereas like listen to the reactions to Darby, and that dude, he is always going to put on a good match. Like it's about time for him. But TNT title works for me here.
The next two matches that are on this list in a row tend to be two of the more predictable ones, I feel like. So kind of knock those out real quick. You got the AEW American Championship match of Will Ospreay versus MJF.
Osprey, like this story is set up for, and I mean, and they're even telling you how the match is going to end too. And so, when Danielson came through and talked to Osprey about doing the Tiger Driver, he's just like, just do it.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, oh, the guy that he thought that he almost killed with the Tiger Driver thing says, go ahead and do it. So now you know for a fact, pretty like I will bet all of my pennies that I'm not Danielson, that Osprey wins with a Tiger Driver 91.
May not be the end of the match, but it'll be right before he hits like the hidden blade or something, but it's definitely going to play into the finish of the match. But yeah, this whole, like, during this entire time, MJF's been daring him to use it. He hasn't been. Now he's got the green light. He's going for it. This entire time, it made no sense to have Ospreay lose the title before Wembley, because you could do it for the heat if you lost it at Wembley, but to lose it before Wembley, and we've seen AEW do situations like this before. They're just doing it so they can get that big pop back.
Yep. Yeah. Osprey gets the second loudest pop of the night.
Yeah, second.
Well, I was going to say, we'll talk more about that
second.
later.
Forget the world champion. Forget Danielson. Forget Tony Storm. Forget Mariah May. The next four names on the list. It's the next thing, because we have the TBS Championship and Britt Baker versus Mercedes Moné.
Yeah. This is another foregone conclusion, I feel like, here. Britt has been looking like she's got one up on Mercedes this whole time, and all their promos, any exchange. She's even beat up Camille, who was supposed to be a monster, but
no, Camille made her look.
Time.
I was gonna say Camille made her look like a punk the week before, so bad though. But here's the big thing that all you have to know about this: the last 2 weeks on Dynamite, Britt Baker held up the TBS Championship. You don't do that once and usually win the title, but she did it for 2 weeks in a row. She's not winning the title. The big thing that for the fan fund of this match is going to be the fact that Jamie Hayter is going to return to eliminate Camille from the match before Mercedes is able to beat Britt one-on-one.
Yeah, I don't know if that's necessarily exactly how it happens, but Jamie's coming back. And that's going to be the draw of this match.
If Jamie wasn't coming back, this match should have been on All Out. It's simple as that. This match shouldn't be happening at Wembley if Jamie's not coming back. So then we have the AEW Women's World Championship with timeless Toni Storm versus Mariah May, who Mariah has been getting the upper hand on Toni and did this week on Dynamite, which is usually a bad recipe for success at the pay-per-view. But who do you think wins here?
So, I think that's just kind of them trying to throw us a little bit. It's been obvious the whole, since Mariah May's debut, it's been obvious that this was what was going to happen with her. Like, she's the understudy, and of course she was going to, find that right time and step out from underneath Tony's shadow. Like, you've been building this up for so long. If she doesn't win here, I'm gonna just be like, well, what sense does that make?
It's gonna be what Mariah winning here is gonna be what spurns the next evolution of Toni Storm, like the next change in character. And
I love Toni Storm most. I liked when her character was just starting to tip over the edge right after she had lost the belt last time. Like, once she won the belt, it wasn't I like this has been a great title run. I'm not gonna say it hasn't been a great title run, but I liked before she won the belt. Like I liked her promos, the way she acted in videos, vignettes before she got the belt.
So, and to wrap it up, this last one we're not going to spend a whole lot of time on here because we are going to dedicate a whole video to it. So make sure you go ahead and check that out after.
Yeah, but
Gonna keep it simple now, but we got the title versus career match, Swerve Strickland versus Danielson, and the only thing I'm gonna say right now, because I can't think about it too much, I'm leaving it for the other video. I am sticking with how I have felt for the last handful of weeks, whether I was super confident or not as confident. And I'm going to say Swerve retains, Danielson retires.
I'd love to see that. But I'm just gonna say thank you, Swerve, for a nice title run. But the crowd is gonna be at the end of the night.
I think at the end of the night, it will just be he retains, he holds up his belt, he gets to walk off, and the end of the Wembley pay-per-view is kind of like what they did for Sting, and everybody getting to say, thank you, Ryan, and maybe he gets to do a little speech or something.